Hey everybody, welcome back to In Bed with a Millennial. I'm the Millennial, Javeda Bay, and this is my bed. And we are still talking about STIs because it's STI Awareness Month. And today I want to talk about how to have the STI convo with a partner or a potential partner because it's a skill that we all need and a skill that a lot of us are not taught. So I want to give you the tools so you can have this conversation and not be like afraid or worried, just prepared. So let's get into it. Okay, why Javay? Like, why do we even need to have this conversation? Like, you know, well, one, because talking about STI testing is a safer sex practice. Two, because we want to show mutual respect and trust and honesty with the people we're engaging with sexually. And talking about STIs is the way to do that. A way to do that. And three, because it is a part of your sexual wellness and health. You need to be aware of your STI status, and you need to be able to relay that to potential partners or partners that you already are engaging with in sexual activity. So that's why we're going to do this. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're talking about it. Also, because talking about STIs helps to normalize them and remove the stigma and shame, which we are always trying to do because STIs are common. They are a common part of engaging in sexual activity with others, and acting like it's like, oh my goodness, is ridiculous. So that's why we're having this conversation right now, so you can have the conversation later. Okay, Jave, you're right. But like, when should you have the conversation? This is gonna depend. If you are engaging with someone like a completely new partner, before y'all actually engage in sexual activity is when the conversation should happen. If it's somebody that you've already been like, been here and there, like off and on again, off again, you should bring it up as soon as possible. If you haven't already previously had the conversation. And if, say, you're someone that's been in a committed relationship, but you all never had this conversation and you're like, I don't know, bring it up. Like, have the conversation. It doesn't matter where you are in a relationship's like timeline. You should have this conversation. So that's that. But if you're like specifically like, when do I do this? Not in the bedroom. Please, dear Lord, don't do this right before you try to have sex with somebody, because then it do get awkward. Because you're like, well, yeah. So like, think ahead of time. Do it in advance. Don't wait until the last possible minute. Because as much as I would love to say everybody's going to respond and like it's going to be a chill conversation, there are still some folks that like might respond not okayly to you bringing up this conversation. And that's a whole other part of this conversation that we'll get to a little bit later. So make sure you bring it up in advance. Okay, Javay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it in advance. But how do I do it? Well, I am a high recommender of just being like straight and to the point when it comes to STI testing. Like, hey, I can tell that we're like headed in a direction of like things heating up, and I just want to check in with you to see when the last time you were STI tested was. I was last tested XYZ. If you want, I can show you my results. Or if you're good with just taking me on my word, I came back negative on XYZ things, blah blah blah. Really great way to just like have the conversation and not beat around the bush. But if you're like, Javay, that's a little too direct, that's not up my lane, hey, guess what? It is April. It's STI Awareness Month. And I promise you, I'm not the only person talking about STIs. So go to social media, send them posts, be like, 5 ways to bring up talking about STIs with your partners. Like, there's so much content out there. You can start the conversation that way if you personally don't want to do it yourself. And because I always got your back, check my social media this week. Check my social media always, but like this week I'll be sharing a post that's like easy. Just easily share it to them and start the conversation that way. You don't really have to do any heavy lifting. You just gotta be following me. But you can use social media to do it. Another great way, especially if you already have like a rapport or some type of relationship with this person, is turning it into like a date. So being like, hey, I feel like we're getting to the point where we're gonna start moving into like, sex. So I was thinking we could just like have a date together and we go and get STI tested together. What are your thoughts about that? I could schedule the appointment. There's the free clinic, like blah blah blah, around the street, however you want to do it. Or even, at home testing kits are a thing. So there's a lot of different ways that you could go about it. So make it a date. But definitely, like, you got 3 different ways. Super direct, straight to the point. Using social media as a jump off point, or just proposing it as a date and y'all doing it together. Instead of being like, well, I can tell you, I can show you what I got. Do it together. Especially if like you're like more nervous about STI testing. Going with somebody makes it a little bit less scary. But yeah, those are just a few different ways that you could go about starting the conversation. Okay, but like, Javay, what do I do if they continuously try to avoid having the STI conversation with me? I'm gonna tell you one thing. Don't have sex with them. If someone is actively avoiding having the conversation and not being direct with you, when you try and be upfront and direct with them around STI testing, you don't need that in your life. We don't need people that are like wishy-washy, beating around the bush, can't give you a straight yes or no answer. Like, have you been STI tested? Like, no. Obviously they're trying to hide something, and it's not your job to unpack that with them. They can go to therapy for that. So if someone is actively avoiding this conversation, like repeatedly, that's a red flag in my book. We're gonna keep it moving. We are moving on to greener pastures, or whatever the phrase is. But yeah, no, if they are actively avoiding, that's not okay. It's not worth your time, I promise. And then if it's someone that's just like having a negative reaction every time you bring up STI testing, again, it's a hesitant red flag for me. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. But you are gonna want to try and get them, like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. Like, if they're having a negative reaction to being asked about STI testing, that itself is like a little concerning. If they have a negative reaction after disclosing STI testing, like, oh, okay, well, I got tested. Oh, it looks like I have chlamydia. The doctor already prescribed me the meds. We just can't do anything for a week. If they have a negative reaction, you're not meant to sleep with them. Don't sleep with them. If anyone is reacting negatively to STIs in our big grown-up ages, in general, but like especially in our big grown-up ages, don't do it. Don't do it. So yeah, if the reactions are inherently negative, and not like a negative like, I don't know enough about this STI, but like negative like, how could you, like, oh my gosh, you're dirty, like using that bad language that I talked about. Yeah, no, it's a no-go. It's a no-fly zone. Don't do it. But yeah, make sure you are having the conversation around STIs with your partners. Make sure you are staying on top of your STI testing. Remember, if you are someone who is engaging in casual relationships every 3 to 6 months, or before every new partner is a recommendation. If you are someone that is in a more long-term monogamous relationship, once a year is like the CDC recommendation. And if you're someone that's like, like every like 4 to 8 months, you got a new partner, like in between those new partners, just, stay on top of your STI testing. There's so many different like at-home testing kits that you can order online. Go and check those out if that makes it easier for you, because also we know healthcare in this country is a scam. It's a joke. It's really difficult to get it, so it might not be easy to go into a doctor's office. Also, check to see if there's any free clinics in your area. You would be surprised. But yeah, definitely stay up on your STI testing for your own self. Because you don't want to leave STIs untreated if you do have one, because that can lead to health complications. But yeah, that is that. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, because content for days. And make sure you're following me on all the social media platforms, especially if you need help starting them conversations around STI testing. I got you. And definitely make sure you subscribe to my podcast. One of these days there will be a new episode. And definitely make sure you subscribe to my email newsletter, because that's where the goods are. And I am about to be in the thick of traveling for the spring, summertime, which means in-person workshops. So if you want to be at any of those, you got to be on my email newsletter. But yeah, until next time, I'm going to see you later. Deuces. If you're going to be in the Denver area on Saturday, April 15th, you better make sure you register for my workshop, To the Brink, Edging 101. You can register on my website. So what are you waiting for? Go and do it.